Despite these cooler than normal temperatures, today is the first official start of summer. It's the astronomical start to summer. And meteorologist Cody takes a deeper look into the science behind the summer solstice.
That's right. Summer is officially underway now, with the summer solstice officially occurring earlier this morning. So let's go ahead and take a trip through the solar system to see exactly more details on what the summer solstice is and a little bit about what it's not either. So, of course, this is here the third rock from the sun. Earth, our axial tilt, that tilt on the Earth's axis pointing towards the sun, is actually the closest to the sun this time of the year on the solstice. And that's why, with the sun's angle, why our temperatures are so hot. But believe it or not, our closest time to the sun in terms of physical distance is actually during the winter in January. So we are the furthest from the sun during the summer, but it's all about that tilt and the axis that makes the difference with those temperatures. Also, of course, the highest point in the sun, and as I mentioned, it was earlier this morning, 9:57. If you missed it, the official start of the summer solstice. Today, of course, we're still a little bit of ways from sundown, so 14 hours, 48 minutes of daylight, the longest day in terms of daylight period that we see all year. And here's a little bit of a different look. Again, as I mentioned, that Earth tilt and the center of the sun, at least that angle, pointing with an emphasis on the Tropic of Cancer as well. As we mentioned, the northern hemisphere, where we are here in the tri-state, the longest daylight. Of course, that is reversed in the southern hemisphere, where it's the shortest daylight hours of the year for the southern half. Of course, for us here at home, that flips back in the reverse for us as we head into the winter. So a little bit of a Latin lesson here. Of course, the solstice word comes from the Latin word of solstitium, which means sun and standing. And you may also be asking, what's the difference between meteorological summer and the summer solstice? We've been talking about meteorological summer, which of course began back on June 1st. Well, the difference comes from basically record keeping. It's more consistent. As the summer solstice, it can vary from year to year. Sometimes it's a day like today, June 21st. Other years around the 20th, maybe even as late as the 22nd. For record keeping in the meteorological and climate world, keeping it consistent makes our averages and statistics a little more easier to hold as well. And speaking of meteorological summer, let's take a look at your 6 to 10 day climate outlook that was just released yesterday. And if you're thinking it's going to feel like summer, well, it's not looking overly hot for the tri-state. In fact, the western half, southwestern half of the tri-state, under that kind of low end, above average outlook for our temperatures. A little bit warmer than normal for the possibility, but those areas northeast of Evansville in that gray shading, that is an equal chance of cooler or warmer than normal temperatures. So the first day of summer started today, the summer solstice, but it's not going to feel a whole lot like summer in terms of our temperatures here moving forward.